I'm 100 years old, and last week I did something I should have done decades ago. Not my journals, not my pictures of my children and grandchildren. I threw away a box filled with shame, regret, and the voices of people who never deserved rent-free space in my head. Maybe you've got a box like that too. Maybe you don't even know you're carrying it, but it's there. It's heavy. It's pressing down on your chest, stealing your breath, dimming your smile, weighing down your spirit. I spent most of my years dragging that weight. Then one morning I looked in the mirror and said, "Baby, enough is enough. Today I'm going to share 4 invisible chains we bind ourselves with after 60. Things nobody talks about, things that are silently breaking us from the inside. And the last one? That's the burden most people carry all the way to their grave without ever recognizing what's happening. When I was younger, I was enslaved to what other people thought, not by chains you could see, but chains just as real. What would the church ladies say about me? What would my neighbors whisper? What if people judge my choices? So I lived small. I dressed how I was supposed to. I spoke the way I was expected to. I became a version of myself designed to make other people comfortable. There was this moment, I must have been around 40, when I desperately wanted to wear my natural hair. I wanted to stop straightening it, stop burning my scalp every 6 weeks, and just let my hair be what it naturally was, beautiful and free. But my mother-in-law pulled me aside one day and said, "Girl, natural hair looks unkempt. You're going to keep a man looking like that?" So what did I do? I kept chemically treating my hair for another 25 years. 25 years because of one comment from someone whose opinion didn't matter, who wasn't even paying my bills. And I'm not alone. I watched my best friend stay in clothes that made her uncomfortable for decades because her husband preferred her a certain way. I watched my cousin turn down a job promotion because she was afraid of what people would say about an ambitious Black woman. Here's what I finally figured out. Most people aren't thinking about you. That woman at the grocery store who gave you a look, she forgot about you before she got to the parking lot. That person criticizing your life choices, they're too busy dealing with their own mess. They're not losing sleep over you. You're spending precious energy on judgments that barely exist. And even if someone is judging you, so what? Their opinion doesn't pay your mortgage. It doesn't keep you warm on cold nights. It doesn't add one meaningful thing to your life. I'm 100 years old, and I stopped caring what strangers thought about 5 years ago. 5 years. Think about how many years I wasted, how much of myself I gave away to people who didn't even know my real name. So here's what I'm telling you. Let it go now. Wear what makes you feel alive. Say what you mean. Live the way your spirit is calling you to live. Because at the end of your life, you won't regret what strangers thought of you. You'll regret not being yourself. I had a brother. We grew up together in the same house, shared the same struggles, the same dreams. But somewhere along the way, he became bitter. He became mean. Every conversation with him left me feeling small. He'd criticize my marriage, my parenting, and my career choices. Nothing I did was ever good enough for him. And you know what's crazy? Despite all of that, I kept calling him. I kept inviting him to family gatherings. I kept trying to win his approval. Why? Because he was blood, and I was raised to believe that family meant loyalty, no matter what, that you stick with family even when they're hurting you. But here's what I learned. Loyalty is not the same as self-destruction. One day, he said something so cruel, so intentionally hurtful, that I came home and cried for hours. Real tears, the kind that shake your whole body. My husband found me and asked, "Why do you keep letting him do this to you?" And I had no answer. That's when it hit me. Just because someone shares your blood doesn't mean they get access to your peace. I stopped answering his calls. I didn't invite him to the next family dinner. And you know what? A weight lifted, like someone had taken a boulder off my chest, and I could finally breathe again. Toxic people drain you. It doesn't matter if they're your mother, your sibling, your oldest friend, your child. Some people don't actually want you to be happy. They want you struggling so they can feel less bad about their own lives. They want you small so they don't feel so insignificant. Those people don't deserve your time. They don't deserve your energy. And they definitely don't deserve a spot in your final chapters. I don't care if it makes you feel guilty. Guilt is a lot easier to carry than bitterness. Protect your peace like your life depends on it. Because it does. After 60, something shifts. The thought of death starts creeping in, not as a whisper, as a scream. How much time do I really have left? What if I get sick? What if nobody's around when I go? The fear gets so loud that it drowns everything else out. And before you know it, you're not living, you're just waiting to die. My husband, he wrestled with this in his final years. Every ache felt like cancer. Every cough was pneumonia. He stopped going places because he was terrified something might happen. He stopped seeing friends because he was too tired. He wouldn't enjoy a meal because he was worried about his health. And then one day, he died peacefully in his sleep. All that fear, all that suffering, and when death came, it was quiet, simple, nothing like the nightmare he'd been imagining all those years. He wasted 5 years being afraid of something that turned out to be gentle. So I made a choice. I'm not doing that. Yes, I'm 100. Yes, I know my time is limited, but I refuse to spend my remaining days frozen in fear. Instead, I wake up and ask myself one question. What can I enjoy today? Maybe it's a cup of coffee on my porch watching the sunrise. Maybe it's a video call with my grandchildren, making me laugh until my sides hurt. Maybe it's just watching the pigeons outside my window going about their business. I'm not pretending death doesn't exist. I'm not being naive about it. I'm just refusing to let the fear of it steal the present moment from me. Here's the truth nobody wants to say. None of us knows when our time is up. You could be 35 and get hit by a bus tomorrow. You could be 85 and live another 20 years. So stop waiting. Stop telling yourself you'll live when it's safe, when the time is right, when you've got everything figured out. You'll never feel completely safe. You'll never have all the answers. Live now, in this moment, this day. That's all any of us really have. This is the belief that kills more people than any disease. The belief that after a certain age, you're done. You're irrelevant, you're invisible, you're just waiting for the end. I see it everywhere. People my age sitting in nursing homes in their chairs, staring at nothing, saying, "Well, I'm old, this is just how it is." No, that's not how it is. That's how you've decided it has to be. I had a dear friend named Marta. She was 76 when her husband passed after 52 years of marriage. Everyone expected her to shut down, to fade away, to become a ghost in her own life. But Marta had other plans. She joined a pottery class, something she'd wanted to do since she was a girl, but never had time for. Then she volunteered at the community center teaching literacy. Then she adopted a cat from the shelter. Then she took a trip to New Orleans, a place she'd dreamed about her whole life but never got to see. Marta told me, "I spent 52 years being someone's wife. Now I get to discover who Ruth is." She lived another 16 years, and she told me those were the best years of her life. Traveling, learning, laughing with people she'd never met before. You're creating art that nobody asked her to make. That's what I mean when I say your best years are not behind you. Your life is not a closed book just because you've reached a certain age. It's different, yes, but different is not less. Different is not over. By now, you have something you didn't have when you were young. Wisdom. You have freedom. You have perspective. You don't have to impress anyone. You don't have to compete. You don't have to prove anything to anybody. For the first time in your life, you can do things because you want to, not because you're supposed to. But only if you stop believing the lie that your story is finished. I'm 100 years old. I still wake up curious about things. I still learn new things. I taught myself how to use a computer when I was 85. I still laugh. I still feel alive. Not because my body is young, trust me, my body knows it's been here a century, but because my mind refuses to get old. My mind is still young, still asking questions, still wanting to know more. You want to know the real secret to a long life? Keep moving, not just your body, your mind, your curiosity, your spirit. The moment you stop growing, you start dying. So don't sit down and wait. Get up. Try something you've never done. Talk to someone different. Go somewhere you've only dreamed about. Your life is not a museum piece to be preserved behind glass. It's a river. Let it flow. So let me ask you, what invisible weight are you carrying? Is it the need for people's approval? Is it keeping toxic people close? Is it fear of death? Is it believing you're too old to matter? Put it down, today, right now. You don't have time to carry things that don't serve you anymore. Tell me in the comments, what burden are you ready to release? Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more honest conversations. Now go live like you actually mean it.